Greetings, adventurers, and welcome to the Loot Goblin Marketplace. The holidays can be a stressful time, especially when you have a big family. The amount of effort that goes into making sure the holidays run smoothly is a level of social navigation and event planning that even my years of DMing experience has yet to prepare me for. Today we cover a tale where an aunt has asked our author to run a game for all the kids at the Christmas party. Expectations are high for them, and appreciation for all their effort is nowhere to be found. I would not wish this request upon anyone. Now, personally, my family has never really been interested in playing tabletop games together. I've gotten pretty good at preparing games for my friends, but if my family were to put me in charge of running a game night for my younger cousins, I'd probably have a hard time handling this responsibility. It can be hard to keep the peace between friends, so I can only imagine how hard it would be to keep your entire extended family happy during a one-shot over the holidays. Merry Christmas to everyone out there who celebrates, and I hope the holiday season has been treating you all well. Today's treasure goes by the name The Ghost of Dungeons & Dragons Past. This one takes a bit of setup, and it starts with the fact that I have a rather large family. Both my father and mother come from big families that grew up in the same town. I have 18 aunts and uncles, and an uncountable number of cousins. While some of us have spread out, the family tended to orbit my grandfather's house as they moved out. He was always the central location for everyone to travel to. This, plus the fact that he was the last living family member of his generation, meant that every Christmas was always held at his house, and it was a huge affair. Grandpa would organize the entire thing top to bottom. While he was slightly micromanaging at times, this led to a smooth and happy gathering for everyone. The aunts and uncles and their spouses were each assigned a food item to bring. This ensured a feast large enough and diverse enough to feed everyone and meet any dietary needs. The older kids were tasked to get a present for another kid in their group. We were given a price range and the caveat that the present must be safe to show in front of a 5-year-old during the great present unwrapping. Several were also assigned to host activities or games for either the older or younger kids. The younger kids were charged with getting a present for another younger kid, and to bring a Christmas-themed story to read to everyone. Every family would wake up, have their own personal Christmas Day thing, and then throw all their stuff into the soccer minivan and hightail it to Grandpa's. And one fateful year, two things happened. First, I was assigned to entertain the older kid group after story time. I did this by organizing a Christmas-themed D&D one-shot. I had pre-built characters plus extra sheets for anyone who wanted to roll up one real fast. I had a battle map with the dungeon drawn out. The party worked together to save Santa from evil elves or something. It was a bit of a mess, but it was a big hit. My present assignment was for a cousin of mine that I never knew. I honestly didn't know who he was or how he fit in the family tree. I learned that he was actually an in-law for another cousin I knew relatively well. Research told me he was into high fantasy and liked reading Tolkien. While at a local Goodwill, I found a cheap, clearly knockoff sword on sale for $20. It's metal, but the quality all around is rather poor. Doesn't matter, I grabbed it and got one uncle, who happened to be a professional carpenter, to help me throw together a box for it. Nothing too expensive, but I did feel like I went a bit overboard after the fact. The point of the price range was to prevent any one-upsmanship. Grandpa loved the idea, however, and gave his blessing. The game went great, Santa was saved, and as a reward he presented the cousin's character with a new sword. I then pulled the box out from under the table and passed it to him. The look on his face was one of confusion, then rapidly melted into joy. He was so happy. The sword hangs on his wall to this day. I said two things happened this Christmas. The first was my favorite game of Dungeons & Dragons that I've ever run. The second was that this would turn out to be Grandpa's last Christmas. Sad to hear that your grandfather passed away. It sounds like he ran a wonderful event every year, and I really do like the idea of doing a one-shot with all the kids, and the amount of effort that you put into that gift is amazing. I can totally see why they're hanging it on their wall. One of my favorite things about Dungeons & Dragons is creating memories, and being able to have a tangible object to tie to a memorable one-shot is such a great thing. Obviously this is an RPG horror story though, so the sequel one-shot doesn't go nearly as well. So let's jump back into it. I am writing this today, many years later, because of this year's Christmas. One of my aunts announced several months ago that she wanted to throw a Christmas party at her place, just like Grandpa used to do. Not many of us were optimistic, but some people said that they were willing to attend. People have moved or grown up since then. The total attendance is less than half of one of Grandpa's events. I live in my own house now, an hour or so from my parents. My aunt lives almost the same distance in the opposite direction. Using work as an excuse, if I work, someone else gets to go home to their family, I try to duck out, but my aunt pleads with me, because she needs me to run that game I ran last time for all the little kids. It needs to last at least an hour long and needs to be G-rated. No one will be able to wrangle the young kids. She needs them to be entertained. She begs me and even offers to pay up to $100 for whatever supplies I need. I asked who is my assigned person for my gift, and I am told that this game will be my gift. I cave. Since the kids who are playing are all between 5 and 11, I don't make characters and instead contact my family for recent photos of the kids who will be attending. I make a Roll20 game, set up a Christmassy map, and make tokens for every kid with their face on it. I ask that she has a large TV set up in whatever room she wants the game in, and then I bring in a laptop. I am ready. I move characters on the map. My younger cousins will save Santa from an army of evil snowmen, I guess, via an epic snowball fight. This story all went down yesterday. My partner and I have our own small Christmas exchange at home, and then we hop in a car and drive across the state to the aunt's house. The party was a mess. None of the adults were assigned any main dishes, so our dinner consists only of sides. Several people did not show up, and most of the older kids did not get a present, or they had one to give to someone else who was not there. Several parents got drunk and devolved into a very heated political discussion regarding everything from recent presidents, the fundamental concept of a labor union, and eventually the true causes of the Civil War. It got ugly fast. My game went well. Most of the kids maintained their interest in saving Santa from snowmen. As kids wandered away, the aunt would collect them and just return them to the designated D&D area. My aunt was clearly having a horrible time. As the game finished, the kids were happy and Santa was saved, but the aunt was confused and then suddenly angry. She was under the impression I would be making toys for everyone based on their characters in the game. She reveals she was expecting me to give a present to each of the kids, who were the only age group that would be upset to not get a present. I said that was never discussed, and she goes ballistic. She blames me in front of the kids for ruining Christmas, and then runs upstairs to try to get my parents to force me to run out and quickly buy a bunch of toys, since I refused to make them like I was supposed to. My partner packs up my stuff while I'm defending myself in front of my aunts and uncles. As soon as we are ready and packed, we leave. My phone has been blowing up since then, with a mixture of accusations and reassurances from my extended family. My aunt left several angry voicemails about how I ruined the last good thing of the evening, and in doing so, caused the entire party to come crashing down. Christmas used to be the last memory of my grandpa, and it is a memory that I look back on with nothing but love and happiness. Now, however, I feel like Christmas will always be the anniversary of the day I cut my aunt out of my life. I feel so bad for the author here. The first thing that really sticks out to me is the fact that the aunt doesn't really understand what the present was that he gave his cousin last time at Grandpa's Christmas party. It seems like he was maybe running a one-shot for slightly older kids. I think that she thought that D&D is just like a silly game that kids play and then you get toys at the end of it based on the one-shot. But let's really break it down here. If the aunt actually got exactly what she wanted in her head, that would mean that a bunch of 5 to 11-year-olds would get secondhand metal weapon replicas for Christmas that year. That's a lot of property damage. I don't know if you want to deal with that. Not to mention the kids could maybe get hurt if they start pretend fighting with them. Also, I don't really know how big this D&D party was, but expecting him to get all the presents for them on Christmas is not only more than just $100, it's just a major ask. As even the author points out, this is the demographic of kids who are going to remember not getting presents the most. It seems like the aunt messed up so many aspects of this party, but this might be the most egregious. As long as the aunt made like one entree, having a bunch of sides isn't the worst thing ever, but having no presents for a bunch of 5 to 11-year-olds is detrimental. I like that the game went smoothly though, and that you aged it down to be even more kid-friendly. The choice to do no character sheets, have it on a screen, and have it be snowmen as the enemies probably made it really easy for them to follow along if they didn't have a fantasy interest like some of the older cousins probably did. You even asked if they needed presents. This is a case where you can't really have a session 0, but you asked the aunt all the questions you needed to make this work, and then you made it work. There is next to no communication on her part. And of course, as the event goes sour, everyone's in a bad mood, she decides to take it out on you. I'm really sorry to see that. I can't believe that there was other aunts and uncles that sided with the host here after seeing how badly the rest of the party was ran. Considering all the things that she botched over the course of the night, if I was attending, I would just assume that they got that wrong as well. I'm probably reading into this a little too much. The aunts and uncles that were giving you a lot of crap were probably just drunk and they were annoyed that they're going to have to drive home with their kids complaining about having no presents. And when the aunts started pointing fingers, they were like, yeah, good enough. We'll be mad at this kid. Definitely a really shitty thing for them to do. I'm glad that at least some of the parents understood and were sending reassurances. I would not be too hard on yourself here. If I was ever in a situation where I was running a one-shot for a bunch of cousins who were getting into D&D, I do like the idea of buying some cool dice and custom minis for everyone's pre-constructed characters, and then saying, hey guys, you can actually take that home, that's your present. But that's something that would need to be planned and budgeted for ahead of time. And once again, I just want to stress that it's bad to give a metal weapon replica to a bunch of 5-year-olds, in case that was somehow your takeaway for this story. I'd love to hear everyone's thoughts in the comments below, and happy holidays to everyone who's celebrating this season. I'm so grateful to have you guys all coming week after week listening to these stories. I can't believe it's already been 3 years doing this channel. If you can, please like and hype the video as it really helps the channel grow, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. And as always, I hope to see you in the next video. Farewell for now. I wanted to give D&D Dice a shout out, my favorite dice shop and where half of my paycheck goes to every month. They've got a lot of options, including their original 11-piece dice sets that they call the King of Crits series. Be sure to use the code LootGoblin to support the channel at dnddice.com, or you can just click the link down in that video description and it'll be added when you check out with your favorite dice. As an edgelord myself, my favorite collections are the Plague Doctor and Blood Hunter 11-piece sets, which I use alongside their Tomb of the Lich dice tower.